John Miller stood at the large window of the Earth Embassy, looking at the strange purple sky of Nexus Station. The massive space station served as the meeting place for the Galactic Council. As Earth's ambassador, Miller felt out of place among the 27 alien species that made up the Council. "Ambassador, the Zoraxian delegation is requesting another meeting," said his assistant, Susan Clark. She looked tired after 3 weeks of non-stop diplomatic work. Miller sighed. "What do they want now?" "The same thing. They insist you use the proper greeting rituals and status acknowledgments when addressing council members." Miller turned from the window. The Zoraxians, one of the oldest and most powerful species in the galaxy, had been particularly difficult since humans joined the council 2 months ago. "Tell them I'll meet with them tomorrow. Right now I need to prepare for the trade discussion." Susan nodded and left. Miller knew the aliens found humans strange. While other species spent hours on formal greetings and status displays, humans focused on practical matters. The council members saw this as rude, but Miller had orders from Earth to get results, not waste time on complex rituals. His communication device buzzed. On the screen was the face of Captain Lisa Rice of the Earth defense ship Intrepid. "Captain, good to see you," Miller said. "Ambassador, we've arrived at Nexus Station and completed docking procedures," Lisa reported. Her dark hair was pulled back tightly, and her uniform was perfectly pressed. "My crew is ready to provide security for your delegation as ordered." "Thank you, Captain. I think we might need it. The situation here is getting tense." Lisa frowned. "The Council giving you trouble?" "They don't understand our ways," Miller explained. "Especially the Zoraxians. They expect us to act like all the other new species, grateful and submissive." "That's not going to happen," Lisa said firmly. Miller smiled. "No, it's not. But it's making my job difficult. The Council operates on subtle power games and ancient protocols. Our direct approach confuses them. Or scares them," Lisa suggested. Before Miller could respond, his device chimed with an urgent message. The text glowed with an official council seal. "I need to go, Captain. Something important just came in." Miller ended the call and opened the message. As he read, his expression grew serious. 20 minutes later, Miller sat with his small team in the embassy's secure room. Susan, along with political advisor Greg Wilson and cultural specialist Maria Jones, waited for him to speak. "The Council has invited Earth to participate in an honor recognition ceremony," Miller said. Maria leaned forward. "That's unusual. New species typically wait years for such recognition. What exactly is this ceremony?" Greg asked. Miller displayed the invitation on the room's main screen. "According to this, it's a formal acknowledgement of Earth's status within the Council. Apparently a great honor." "You don't sound convinced," Susan noted. "I'm not. The timing is suspicious, and I've heard rumors about these ceremonies from some of the younger species representatives. They're being very quiet about it, almost afraid." Greg studied the invitation. The language is extremely formal, even for the Council. Lots of talk about proper place and harmonious integration. And look who's pushing for it. Miller pointed to a name. High Speaker Vextillion of the Zoraxians. Maria's eyes widened. The same ones who keep complaining about human diplomatic behavior. Miller nodded. "I'm contacting Earth for instructions, but in the meantime, I want you all digging into the history of these ceremonies. And Maria, discreetly ask our friendlier contacts what they know." Susan looked worried. "Do you think it's some kind of trap?" "I don't know," Miller admitted. "But I've learned that when someone is in a rush to give you an honor you didn't earn, they usually want something in return." Outside the window, the massive council citadel loomed against the purple sky, its ancient towers hiding secrets that had controlled the galaxy for thousands of years. And now, humanity had caught its attention. The EDS Intrepid floated in space near the massive Nexus station. Inside the ship's command center, Captain Lisa Rice studied the reports coming in from her crew. "Captain, you need to see this," said Daniel Green, the ship's science officer. He handed her a tablet with ancient records he had found in the Council's public archives. Lisa scrolled through the information. These are reports of previous honor recognition ceremonies. Daniel nodded, his expression serious. Yes, going back 300 years. Notice what happened to each species afterward. Lisa frowned as she read. The Tulare, the Vex, the Krylon, all had undergone honor ceremonies. Within 5 years, each had surrendered key territories or resources to the Council. Within 10 years, their military forces had been absorbed into the Council fleet. This can't be a coincidence, Lisa said. Daniel lowered his voice. There's more. Olivia intercepted some encrypted Council transmissions. In the communications bay, Olivia Martinez worked quickly as Lisa and Daniel entered. She was the best communications specialist in Earth's fleet, able to crack codes that stumped even the most advanced computers. What have you found? Lisa asked. Olivia pointed to her screen. They're discussing Earth in these messages. The translation is rough, but they keep mentioning something called integration protocols and resource allocation. They seem very interested in our moon mining operations. Are they planning to take our resources? Daniel asked. I don't know, Lisa said, but I need to warn Ambassador Miller. An hour later, Lisa met with Miller in a secure room aboard the Intrepid. The ambassador looked tired but determined. Earth Command sent new instructions, Miller said after reviewing the information Lisa had gathered. We are to attend this ceremony, but reveal nothing about our true military capabilities. Do you think the Council knows about our defense grid? Lisa asked. After the climate wars that had nearly destroyed Earth 50 years ago, humanity had united and built a hidden network of defensive satellites and bases throughout the solar system. The Council believed Earth had only a small fleet of ships like the Intrepid. I don't think so, Miller replied. They see us as newcomers with interesting technology, but limited experience. They don't know about our history of conflicts or how they shaped us. The door opened and Peter Ryan, the ship's chief engineer, entered with new data. The Council Citadel has powerful energy shields, Peter explained, showing them a scan of the massive structure. But there are gaps in the coverage near the docking bays. If we needed to leave quickly, we could. Lisa nodded. Good work. Keep scanning, but be subtle about it. As they prepared to leave for the Citadel, Lisa stood alone at the viewport, looking at the spectacular sight of the station orbiting the galactic core. Beautiful lights from thousands of ships moved around it like fireflies. She felt someone join her and turned to see Peter. Quite a view, he said. Yes, Lisa agreed. Hard to believe we might be in danger here. Peter shrugged. Humans have always faced danger. It's how we survived on Earth. I've been studying the Council's ships, Lisa said quietly. They have impressive weapons, but their designs haven't changed much in centuries. No innovation. They haven't needed it, Peter replied. No one challenges them. Lisa's face hardened. Maybe that's about to change. When they arrived at the Citadel docking bay, Lisa noticed small details that concerned her. Armed guards were positioned at key points. Several military-grade ships were visible in nearby bays, unlike during their previous diplomatic visits. A tall, blue-skinned alien approached them. Welcome to the Grand Citadel. I am Klavex, your assigned guide. Klavex led them through massive hallways with high ceilings. Other aliens stopped to stare at the humans. Some looked curious, others hostile. Your honor ceremony is scheduled for tomorrow, Klavex said. Tonight you will attend a reception with council representatives. As they walked, Klavex fell into step beside Lisa and whispered, Be careful what you agree to, human. Once spoken in the council chamber, words become binding. Before Lisa could ask what he meant, Klavex moved ahead, leaving her with a growing sense of unease. The reception hall was filled with representatives from across the galaxy. Ambassador Miller moved carefully through the crowd, nodding politely to alien diplomats. Captain Lisa stayed close by, watching for any signs of trouble. They're all staring at us, Lisa whispered. Miller smiled thinly. We're the newest members of their club, and possibly the only ones who don't know the real rules. A group of tall, elegant aliens with blue skin approached. Their leader, a female with elaborate markings on her face, bowed slightly. Ambassador Miller, I am Diplomat Klavex of the Xendry. We are pleased to see humans at this gathering. Miller returned the bow. Thank you for your welcome. When the other aliens moved away, Klavex leaned closer. May we speak privately? I have information you should know. They moved to a quiet corner of the hall. Klavex looked around nervously before speaking. The honor ceremony is not what it seems. The Council uses it to bind new species to unfair agreements. Why are you telling us this? Lisa asked suspiciously. Klavex's large eyes blinked slowly. My people underwent this ceremony 300 years ago. We lost our independence. Some of us believe the Council system must change. Before they could ask more questions, a loud chime sounded. At the center of the room, a tall Xeraxian in formal robes called for attention. High Speaker Vextillion, Klavex whispered, the most powerful member of the Council. The High Speaker's voice boomed across the hall. Tomorrow we celebrate Earth's formal recognition. Their place in our Grand Alliance will be confirmed through ancient tradition. His eyes found Miller in the crowd. We look forward to humanity's proper integration into the galactic community. After the reception, Miller and Lisa met with Security Chief Alan Nguyen in a secure room. Alan had spent the evening gathering intelligence while pretending to be a simple bodyguard. Several Council ships have left the station in the past 3 hours, Alan reported, all heading toward Earth space. Miller frowned. Military vessels. Alan nodded. At least 4 battle cruisers. They're trying to be discreet, but my scanners picked them up. This can't be a coincidence, Lisa said, not right before this ceremony. Miller activated a secure communication device. I need to speak with Earth Command immediately. While Miller talked with Earth, Lisa and Alan continued to compare notes. The Council keeps us isolated from potential allies, Alan observed. Notice how they separate different species at these functions. They control who speaks to whom. Lisa nodded, and they've assigned guards to our quarters. For our protection, they claim. Miller rejoined them, his face grim. Earth Command is concerned. Our long-range sensors have detected unusual activity at the edge of our solar system. An invasion fleet? Lisa asked. Not yet, Miller replied, but possibly positioning for one. They're waiting for something. The ceremony, Alan suggested. Maybe once we agree to whatever they demand. The fleet moves in. A soft knock at the door interrupted them. A Council attendant handed Miller an ornate box before quickly departing. Inside was a document written on what appeared to be actual paper, a rare luxury in the galaxy. The text was in both the common galactic language and English. The honor demand. Miller read aloud. He scanned the document, his expression darkening. It's full of diplomatic language about harmony and cooperation, but beneath the flowery words, what does it really say? Lisa asked. Miller looked up at them. It demands Earth recognize the Council's authority to establish military outposts in our system, implement resource-sharing protocols, and allow Council advisors to assist our government. They want control of Earth, Alan said simply. Yes, Miller agreed. And according to protocol, I must give our formal response tomorrow in the Grand Council chamber. What will you tell them? Lisa asked. Miller's face hardened. I need to consult with President Lewis and the Global Council, but I suspect Earth's answer will surprise them. Outside their window, the spectacular view of the galactic core glittered with thousands of stars, beautiful and dangerous, like the politics that had ruled them for centuries. Ambassador Miller sat alone in his quarters, studying the honor demand document for the 3rd time. The elegant language could not hide its true purpose. The Council wanted Earth to give up its freedom in exchange for so-called protection. His communication device lit up with an incoming secure transmission. The face of President Karen Lewis appeared on the screen. Ambassador, have you fully reviewed the document? She asked, her expression serious. Yes, Madam President. Under all the fancy words, they're demanding we surrender our sovereignty, grant access to our resources, and allow them to place military forces in our system. President Lewis nodded. That's what our analysts concluded as well. What happens if we refuse? Miller sighed. According to Klavex, the Tsendri diplomat who's been helping us, previous species who declined faced total isolation from galactic trade and communication. Some faced military action if they had resources the Council wanted badly enough. And if we agree, we become a client state in all but name. They'll drain Earth's resources and control our development for centuries. The President was silent for a moment. I've spoken with the Global Council. We're united on this. Earth will not surrender its independence. Miller felt a wave of relief. I expected that would be the decision. What's your assessment of their military capabilities? The President asked. They have superior numbers, but their technology has stagnated. They haven't faced real resistance in centuries. Miller leaned closer to the screen. And they don't know about our defensive systems. They think Earth is far less prepared than we actually are. Good. General Baker has already activated the Soul Defense Grid, but we're keeping it on passive mode for now. We don't want to show our hand too early. A soft knock interrupted them. Miller checked the security monitor and saw Lisa standing outside. Captain Rice is here with new information, he told the President. Let her in. I want to hear it. Miller opened the door, and Lisa entered with a data tablet. She saluted the President on the screen. Madam President, we've discovered something important about the Council's structure, Lisa said. They've never faced a unified planetary resistance before. When they've used force in the past, it was against worlds with divided governments or internal conflicts. Earth doesn't have that weakness, President Lewis noted. Not anymore, not since the Unity Accords after the climate wars. Exactly, Lisa continued. And there's more. Several younger species in the Council seem unhappy with the current system. They hide it well, but I've noticed tensions during diplomatic functions. Miller nodded. The Council relies on divisions to maintain control. If Earth stands firm, others might follow our example. President Lewis considered this information. So our response could have wider implications than just for Earth. It could change the balance of power in the galaxy, Miller agreed. The President's expression hardened with resolve. Then we need to make our position absolutely clear. Ambassador, you will deliver our response at the ceremony tomorrow as planned. Captain Rice, prepare for possible emergency extraction. What exactly should I say, Madam President? Miller asked. Keep it simple. Sometimes the most powerful message is the briefest. The President leaned forward. The people of Earth have fought too hard for our unity and recovery to surrender it now. Make that clear to them. After the call ended, Lisa turned to Miller. Do you think they'll attack Earth when they hear our answer? They'll try, Miller said. But Earth isn't as helpless as they believe. And I think they're about to learn that humans don't respond well to threats. Miller returned to the honor demand document on his desk. Tomorrow, in front of the entire Galactic Council, he would give Earth's response to their demands. One word, he murmured to himself. That's all it will take. Outside, the lights of the massive citadel glowed against the backdrop of space, unaware that tomorrow would change the course of galactic history forever. The Grand Council chamber was enormous. Thousands of representatives from across the galaxy sat in rising circles around a central platform. Ambassador Miller stood with Lisa and Alan in a small waiting area, preparing to enter. Remember the extraction plan, Lisa said quietly. If things go wrong, head for exit point 3. The Intrepid shuttle is ready. Miller nodded, adjusting his formal diplomatic uniform. Let's hope it doesn't come to that. A chime sounded, and the massive doors slid open. They walked into the chamber as all eyes turned to watch them. The noise of thousands of conversations faded to silence. At the center of the chamber stood High Speaker Vextillion. His tall, thin body was covered in ornate robes that sparkled with jewels. Behind him sat the council elders, the most powerful beings in the known galaxy. Representatives of Earth, Vextillion's voice boomed across the chamber. Today is a momentous occasion. Your world takes its proper place in the great galactic community that has maintained peace and order for 10,000 years. Miller and his team stopped at the designated spot. Lyssa noticed guards positioned at every exit. For countless cycles, the Council has guided developing worlds toward enlightenment, Vextillion continued. Today, Earth will receive this blessing through the ancient honor recognition. The chamber filled with polite applause. Miller remained expressionless, though Lyssa could see tension in his shoulders. Vextillion raised his long, four-fingered hands. The elders have reviewed Earth's petition and prepared the honor demand, outlining the responsibilities and privileges of your new status. An aide brought forward the document Miller had received the previous day. As is tradition, Vextillion said, the representative of Earth will now approach the response podium to formally accept these terms and express gratitude for the Council's guidance. Complete silence fell across the chamber. This was the moment everyone had been waiting for. Miller walked slowly to the ancient podium at the center of the floor. It was made of a strange black stone that seemed to absorb light. Lyssa watched nervously, her hand near her concealed weapon. Alan had positioned himself with a clear view of all security personnel. Miller stood before the podium and placed his hands on its smooth surface as protocol required. The podium lit up with a soft blue glow, indicating it was recording. Vextillion smiled thinly. Ambassador John Miller of Earth, do you accept the honor demand and all its terms, binding your world to the wisdom and protection of the Galactic Council? Miller looked up, his eyes moving across the chamber, taking in the thousands of alien faces watching him. Some looked eager, others bored, as if this were merely a formality they had seen many times before. He spotted Klavex in the Tsendri section, watching intently. Several other younger species representatives leaned forward in their seats. Miller took a deep breath and leaned toward the podium. When he spoke, his voice was clear and firm, amplified by the ancient technology to reach every corner of the vast chamber. No. The single word echoed throughout the silent space. For several seconds, nothing happened. Then murmurs began to spread through the chamber like ripples in water. The council elders looked at each other in confusion. Vextillion's face darkened with anger. Perhaps there is a translation error, Vextillion said, his voice tight. The appropriate response is to accept the honor with gratitude. Miller stood straight and spoke again, louder this time. There is no error. Earth's answer to your demands is no. We will not surrender our sovereignty or our resources. The chamber erupted in chaos. Delegates shouted in dozens of languages. Some stood in shock, others pointed at the humans in outrage. Vextillion slammed his staff against the floor. Silence, he roared. When order returned, he glared at Miller. This is unprecedented. No species has ever rejected an honor demand. Then perhaps it was time someone did, Miller replied calmly. Vextillion signaled to the guards. Detain the Earth delegation until they reconsider this foolish position. Lyssa immediately tapped her communication device, sending a prearranged signal to the Intrepid. All around them, guards began to move in. Ambassador, she said urgently, it's time to go. Alarms blared throughout the Citadel as Lyssa, Miller, and Alan ran down a service corridor. Behind them, the sounds of pursuit echoed off the walls. This way, Alan said, checking the small device that showed a map of the station. The emergency exit is just ahead. They turned a corner and found themselves facing 4 armed guards. Before the aliens could react, Lyssa fired her concealed stun weapon. The guards dropped to the ground. The Intrepid should have received our signal, Lyssa said as they continued running. Peter will have the shuttle ready at the emergency dock. Miller's communication device buzzed. Ambassador, this is Olivia on the Intrepid. The Council has locked down all standard docking bays. We're heading to Emergency Dock 7, Miller replied. Is it still clear? For now, but hurry. Council ships are moving to block all exits. They reached a small airlock at the end of the corridor. Through the viewport, they could see a shuttle waiting, its engines glowing. "Let's move," Lisa ordered. Once safely inside the shuttle, Peter piloted them away from the station at maximum speed. Through the viewport, they watched as the massive citadel grew smaller. "Multiple vessels in pursuit," Peter announced. "Mostly security craft, not warships." Miller contacted the Intrepid. "Captain Rice to bridge. Prepare for immediate departure once we're aboard. Set course for Earth." "Yes, Captain," Olivia responded. "Also, you should know, we're receiving communications from several unexpected sources." When they docked with the Intrepid, the ship immediately jumped to FTL speed, leaving the pursuers behind. In the command center, Olivia showed them the incoming messages. "These are from representatives of at least 7 different species," she explained, "all sent privately after your statement in the council chamber." Miller read the first message, his eyebrows rising in surprise. The Xendri wish to establish direct communication with Earth, outside council channels. Lisa read another. "The Balatarian Union expresses admiration for Earth's stance and hints at similar frustrations with council policies. It seems we're not the only ones unhappy with the current system," Alan observed. Daniel entered the command center with new information. "Council communications are in chaos. The Zoraxians are pushing for immediate military action against Earth, but several younger species are arguing for restraint." Miller nodded thoughtfully. "The Council is fracturing. Our refusal has exposed divisions that were already there." "What happens now?" Lisa asked. "The Zoraxians won't let this stand," Miller said. "They'll send their fleet to Earth with or without full council approval. Their entire system of control depends on no one questioning their authority." Lisa's face hardened. "Then we need to get home first and prepare our defenses." Miller received a priority call from President Lewis. When her face appeared on the screen, she looked concerned but determined. "Ambassador, we've received word of your departure from the Citadel. Are you safe?" "Yes, Madam President. We're aboard the Intrepid and heading home at maximum speed." "Good. The Council has sent an official message demanding we reconsider our position or face severe consequences." "Their threats were predictable," Miller replied. "But something unexpected has happened. Several species have reached out to us privately, expressing support." President Lewis nodded. "Interesting. It seems your one-word answer has stirred up more than just the Zoraxians' anger." "The galaxy is changing, Madam President. Earth may have just become the catalyst." The President's expression became serious. "Our long-range sensors have detected a Zoraxian battle fleet assembling near their homeworld. Intelligence suggests they'll bypass Council approval and launch an attack directly." "How long until they reach Earth?" Lisa asked. 5 days at their maximum speed," the President answered. "We're activating all defense systems and have begun evacuating civilian populations from orbital facilities." Miller looked out at the stars streaking past as the Intrepid raced toward home. "The Zoraxians think they're dealing with an isolated, primitive world they can easily intimidate. They have no idea what they're about to face." "No, they don't," President Lewis agreed. "It's time the galaxy learned that humanity doesn't respond well to threats." As the call ended, Lisa noticed Frank Martinez, their intelligence officer, motioning for her attention. He held a tablet with information that made her eyes widen in surprise. "Captain," Frank said, "I found something in the ancient archives. There was a rebellion against the Council 5,000 years ago. It nearly succeeded." 5 days later, Lisa stood on the bridge of the Intrepid, watching the massive display screen that showed Earth's orbital defense grid. Hundreds of satellites and defense platforms had been activated, forming an invisible shield around the planet. "Zoraxian fleet detected," Olivia announced from her communication station. 32 warships approaching from the outer system. President Lewis appeared on the main screen, speaking from the Global Defense Center beneath the Rocky Mountains. "All systems are at full readiness, Captain. The Sol defense grid is active, but in stealth mode. The Zoraxians still don't know what they're facing." Miller joined Lisa on the bridge. In the days since their return, he had been working with Earth's leaders and communicating with their new allies. The Xendri and Balatarians have officially broken from the Council, Miller reported. 3 other species have followed their example. The entire galactic political system is in upheaval. The main screen showed the approaching Zoraxian fleet, now visible near the orbit of Mars. Their ships were massive and heavily armed, designed to intimidate rather than for actual combat efficiency. "They're sending a transmission," Olivia said. High Speaker Vextilion's face appeared on the screen. "People of Earth, your defiance of Council law cannot be tolerated. Surrender now and accept our authority, or face destruction." Lisa looked at President Lewis, who nodded. "Patch me through," Lisa ordered. When the connection was established, Lisa spoke clearly. "High Speaker, this is Captain Lisa Rise of Earth Defense. We rejected your demands peacefully in your council chamber. Your military response proves what we suspected. The Council rules through fear, not wisdom." Vextilion's face showed contempt. "Your primitive defenses cannot match our power. You have 1 hour to reconsider before we begin our attack." The transmission ended. Lisa turned to Miller. "Primitive defenses." Miller smiled slightly. "They still think we only have a few ships like the Intrepid." President Lewis addressed the bridge crew. "The Zoraxians aren't used to actual resistance. Their technology has barely advanced in centuries because no one has challenged them. Today, that changes." 1 hour later, the Zoraxian fleet moved into attack formation. Their lead ships fired energy weapons at Earth's orbital platforms, expecting them to be destroyed easily. Instead, the defense grid shields absorbed the attacks with minimal damage. Then the grid revealed its true nature. Thousands of hidden weapon systems activated simultaneously, targeting the Zoraxian ships with precision. "They're in shock," Daniel reported, watching the enemy fleet's reactions. "Their communications are chaotic." The Earth ships, including the Intrepid, moved into position. They were smaller than the Zoraxian vessels, but faster and more adaptable. "Fire defensive pattern Alpha," Lisa ordered. Earth's combined defenses struck the Zoraxian fleet from multiple directions. 3 enemy ships were disabled immediately. The others began to scatter, their formation breaking apart. "They didn't expect a coordinated defense," Miller observed. "They've never faced a united planet before." Lisa's communication system lit up with incoming signals. "Captain, we're receiving transmissions from ships that aren't Zoraxian," Olivia reported in surprise. On screen, Lisa ordered. A blue-skinned alien appeared, Clavex of the Xendri. "Captain Rice, the Xendri Liberation Fleet is approaching your position. We stand with Earth against Zoraxian aggression." Similar messages followed from other species. Ships appeared at the edges of the solar system, not to attack Earth, but to join its defense. The Zoraxian fleet, facing unexpected resistance and reinforcements, began to retreat. High Speaker Vextilion made one final transmission, his face filled with rage. "This is not over, humans. The Council has ruled for 10,000 years. Your rebellion will fail like all others." Miller stepped forward. "There's a difference, High Speaker. The earlier rebellion stood alone. This time, we stand together." 3 months later, Miller and Lisa stood in the new Galactic Alliance chamber on Earth's moon. Representatives from 17 former Council species were present for the signing of the Alliance Charter. "One word changed everything," Lisa said quietly, watching the proceedings. Miller nodded. "Sometimes that's all it takes. One word, no, at the right moment, to begin something new." As Earth's sun rose over the lunar landscape, casting light on the first truly equal galactic alliance in 10,000 years, Lisa realized that humanity's defiance had done more than save their planet. It had freed the galaxy.